Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji Pranam.
Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Pranam.
Hare Krishna. Pranam. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiva Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jaimudire Nashta Prayeshu Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Sevaya Bhagavati Uttama Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Naishtaki Om Agnanatimirandasya Gnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurunmilitam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Namo Vishnupadaya Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namni Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharini Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhaktavinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Okay, Srimad Bhagavatam, Canto 7, Chapter 8, Verse 8. Sa Ishvara Kala Urukramosa Ojasaha Sattva Balendriyatma Sa Eva Vishwam Paramasva Shaktivi Sujatyavattyati Gunatrayeshaha. Supreme Person of Godhead, who is the supreme controller and time factor, is the power of the senses. So he is the power of the senses, he is the power of the mind, he is the power of the body and the vital force of the senses. His influence is unlimited. He is the best of all living entities, the controller of the three modes of material nature. By his own power, he creates this cosmic manifestation, maintains it, and annihilates it. So we should remember this, that whatever, if we have some powerful senses, powerful mind, powerful body, etc., all of that is actually his power.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah.
Prabhu, your voice is very low. I'm not sure it's only for me or for others as well.
Okay.
Yeah,
Yes,
little
Prabhu,
bit.
it's very low.
Very low. What happened? Is it better now? Or is it same?
Still the same, Prabhu. Still it's the same.
Still the same. I have not made any changes. Okay. Okay, is it still the same?
Yes, Prabhu.
Yes, Prabhu. Still the same.
Yeah, but we can continue, Prabhuji. I think not so low also can manage.
Okay, is this better?
Yeah,
Yes,
this
Prabhu.
is better.
Yeah, this is far better.
Okay, this is cancellation. Okay, anyway. Yeah. So, yeah, the power of senses, power of mind, power of body, everything is actually the Jayasuram bhavamimam pamatmana samam manodhatsva na santi vidvishaha pratejitat atmana utpate stitat tadhyanantasya mahat samharhanam. Prahlad Maharaj continued, my dear father, please give up your demoniac mentality. Do not discriminate in your heart between enemies and friends. Make your mind equipoised toward everyone. Except for the uncontrolled and misguided mind, there is no enemy within this world. When one sees everyone on the platform of equality, one then comes to the position of worshipping the Lord perfectly. So to come to the platform of worshipping the Lord perfectly, Pandita Samadarshinaha. So we should see everyone equally on the platform of the soul, but of course deal with them based on the body that they've got. But we should respect everybody, knowing that, it's important. Both Atma and Paramatma are there in every jiva. The important thing is, except for the uncontrolled and misguided mind, there's no enemy within. Unless one is able to fix the mind at the lotus feet of the Lord, mind is impossible to control. So this is also very important. Instruction for chanting. So unless we are able to fix the mind at the lotus feet of the Lord, fix the mind in hearing the names of the Lord, the mind is impossible to control. Chanchalami mana Krishna pramahati balabhadram tasyaham nigraham manye vayoriva sudushkaram. It's more difficult than control because the mind is restless, turbulent, obstinate, and very strong. Mind is always restless, turbulent, like waves. Obstinate, meaning stubborn. Also strong. Only bona fide process for controlling the mind is to fix the mind by the service to the Lord, by service to. So when we're doing service to the Lord, mind has to be fixed. And the best service which can fix the mind is actually kirtanam, preaching. Because when we are preaching, your mind can't go here and there, right? It has to be on the subject matter, which is the Lord. Which is why Krishna in Bhagavad Gita also says that preachers are very dear to me. And anybody who preaches sincerely, they will make tremendous progress in devotion. That engagement is required. The mind becomes fixed. We create enemies and friends according to the dictation of the mind, but actually there are no enemies and friends. Pandita Samadarshinaha Samatsarveshu Bhuteshu. To understand this is the preliminary condition for entering into the kingdom of devotion. Meaning to see everybody equally, which is why again, we keep saying that don't come down to the material platform, at least when we are dealing with devotees. Now this verse, Samadarshana means all jivas. Then what to speak of Vaishnavas? So we should not degrade ourselves by the mind. So and everything. Problem is that mind is uncontrolled and misguided. So this guidance or direction has to be Guru Sadhu Shastra, right? And for the controlling process, we have to chant. So then this uncontrolled and misguided mind will be controlled and guided. So without that, so that me for us. And mind is just one, right? So it's very difficult to control. It's stubborn and restless. It's a very bad combination. But this stubbornness will come in handy when mind becomes stubbornly fixed on Krishna. So these qualities can be converted into positive, and the restless nature comes down. So it is strong and which is good for us. Just that when it is not controlled, that strength is not good. But when it becomes controlled, then that strength is good. So anyway, so the whole point is that the only way we can fix our mind, control our mind, is by fixing it on the lotus feet of the Lord. So chanting is the only way. And to aid that chanting, Chavanam Kirtanam is most important. So there is no chanting without reading, without hearing, without preaching. So these two, when they go together, then they can have a powerful impact on controlling the mind. Yeah, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Just wanted to add one comment here that this proves that all these artificial ways of mind control, like yoga, meditation, although meditation is supposed to be on the Lord, but if it is just artificial, then that those things doesn't work. And Prabhupada says that unless it is one is able to fix the mind at lotus feet, the mind is impossible to control. So this is some.
Yeah, I mean, that is in this yuga, but in previous yugas, it's not necessarily. This yuga, those process will cannot be. But in previous yugas, dhyana was a process in Satyuga. So it's not that the process itself doesn't work, but dhyana without being connected to bhakti will not give us the perfection. See, we have to understand this. Dhyana as a process, it works in Satyuga, irrespective of what you do dhyana on. Because the environment itself is pretty sattvic, right? So it's not very difficult to control the mind then. But then those jivas in Satyuga are not so much worried about controlling the mind as much as concentrating the mind on the Supreme Lord. So they engage in the bhakti dhyana process, as in using the process of dhyana to do bhakti. But in Kali Yuga, none of these processes work because the mind is really crazy. Right? And because the process of dhyana cannot be executed by mind control, it becomes like a chicken and egg story, right? Uh, so we need something very, very powerful, which is process. Like I said, chanting also, we are ending up doing inattentive chanting. So for which the process of when I'm hearing about Krishna and getting attracted towards Krishna, form, qualities, pastimes, etc., is the more powerful way, which also which aids in bringing the mind under control. And then the mind is fixed in hearing the nama. Then it develops taste in the nama, and then the nama reveals rupa, guna, lila, etc. of the Lord. Though the process for making progress or the recommended process is chanting the holy names, but the chanting of the holy names has to be supplemented with the with hearing about Krishna. And also deity worship is also can be very effective because then the mind becomes fixed on the deity and service. Yeah, so the chief key process is chanting, but the other are supportive processes, which are also important, especially for many of whose minds are generally in rajas and tamas. So the mind has to come to goodness, right? So for which we need all this lot of help. And so the Navavida Bhakti process is there. Powerful.
Yeah.
Dasyun Purashan na Vijityalumpato Manyanta Ekeswa Jita Tishodasha Jitatmano Gnasya Tamasya Dehi Nam Sadho Swamoha Prabhavaha Kutah Pare. Times there were many fools like you who did not conquer that steal away the health of the body. These fools were very proud, thinking, I have conquered all enemies in all directions. But if a person is victorious over the six enemies and is equipoised toward all living entities, there are no enemies. Enemies are merely imagined by one. So again, this also, I don't like this person, I like this person, I like this, I don't like this. All this is just imagination. Okay, in this material world, everyone thinks that he has conquered his enemies, not understanding that his enemies are his uncontrolled mind and five senses. This material world, everyone has become a servant of the senses. Generally, everyone is a servant of Krishna, but in ignorance, one forgets this, and thus one is engaged in the service of Maya through Kama, Krodha, Lobha, Moha, Mada, Matsarya. Everyone is actually dependent on the reactance of material laws. But still, one thinks himself independent and thinks that he has conquered all directions. In conclusion, one who thinks that he has many enemies is an ignorant man, whereas one who is in Krishna consciousness knows that there are no enemies but those within him oneself, the mind and senses. And because the mind is the chief of the senses, so the focus is on mind control. Mind has to get control. So again, whenever we talk about mind control, we come back to chanting. And one thing we have to sincerely try is not to um, not to be casual in chanting. Chanting has to be so intense that mind should not go here and so we have to make sure that we fight hard. We struggle to keep the mind focused. It's a lot of effort. Initially, chanting is a lot of effort. Um, so then when we put all that effort initially, then subsequently, then chanting becomes bliss. But till that stage, chanting requires a lot of effort. Mm, which is why it is supposed to be done first thing in the morning, because it requires all our energy. It requires us to put our energy, full energy into the process of chanting your nama. So we need energy to bring the mind back wherever it goes. Hiranyakashipuruvacha Vyaktam tvam martu kamosi yoti matram vikattase umurshunam hi mandatman nanusyur viklavagiraha. Hiranyakashipu replied, "You rascal, you're trying to minimize my value as if you are better than me at controlling the senses." That's true. But look at his arrogance, his pride. He's thinking that he has, Hiranyakashipu is thinking that he has any ability to control senses. This is over intelligent. I can therefore understand that you desire to die at my hands, for this kind of nonsensical talk is indulged those about to die. Also by those who are about to fall down from their spirit. Nonsensical talk happens. So which is why Vacho Vegam. Now we have to control our speech. Is the worst thing actually out of everything else. The worst thing is to not control our talk nonsense, and also talk in a way that might offend devotees. So it's very very important that we control our speech. Said in Hitopadesha, Desho hi murkhanam prakopya opaya na shantaye. Good instructions are given to a foolish person, does not take advantage of them, but becomes more and more angry. So we see this also when we give some instructions to somebody. If they become angry, then we can understand that they're not in very sane state of mind. Prahlada Maharaj's authorized instructions to his father were not accepted by Hiranyakashipu as truth. Instead, Hiranyakashipu became increasingly angry at his great son, who was a pure devotee. This kind of difficulty always exists when a devotee preaches Krishna consciousness to persons like Hiranyakashipu, who are interested in money and women. Moreover, a father does not like to be instructed by his son, especially if the father is a demon. Prahlad Maharaj's Vaishnava preaching to his demoniac father was indirectly effective. For because of Hiranyakashipu's excessive jealousy of Krishna and his devotee, he was inviting Narasimha Dev to kill him very quickly. So it was indirectly effective. Of course, I mean, there might be other demons who are not as big as Hiranyakashipu and for whom Lord might not appear. So it's better we don't, trigger such demons. That's why even a Madhyamadikari doesn't engage much with atheists and envious people, and because they may just blaspheme the Lord and go to hell. Thus, he was expediting his being killed by the Lord himself. Although Hiranyakashipu was a demon, he is described here by the added word tree. Why? The answer is that fortunately, he had such a great devotee son as Prahlad Maharaj. Because although he was a demon, he would attain salvation and return back to God. So, Sri, in fortune. What was his fortune? That he had a devotee son, Prahlad. यस्त्वया मन्दभाग्योक्तो मदन्यो जगदीश्वरः क्वासौ यदि स सर्वत्र कृष्ण कस्मात् स्तम्भेन दृश्यते. O most unfortunate Prahlada, you always described a supreme being other than me, a supreme being who is above everything, who is the controller of everyone, and who is all pervading. But where is he? If he is everywhere, then why is he not present before me in this pillar? So what Prahlada had been always saying, which is not very evident from the verses in Bhagavatam, but looks like he was telling. And what was the purport of that was, there is a supreme being other than Hiranyakashipu, supreme being who is above everything, who is the control of everyone and who is all pervading. So Prahlada had glorified the Lord. And so Hiranyakashipu is asking, where is he? If he's everywhere, why is he not present here before me in this pillar? Demons sometimes declare to a devotee that they cannot accept the existence of God because they cannot see him. But what the demon does not know is stated by the Lord himself. Naham prakasha sarvasya yogamaya samavritah. I am never manifest to the foolish and unintelligent. For them, I am covered by yogamaya. The Lord is open to being seen by devotees, but non-devotees cannot see him. What is the qualification for seeing God? Preman janachurita bhakti vilochanena santa sadaiva hridayeshu vilokayanti. A devotee who has developed a genuine love for Krishna can always see him everywhere. Whereas a demon not having a clear understanding of the Supreme Lord cannot see him. When Hiranyakashipu was threatening to kill Prahlad, Prahlad certainly saw the column standing before him and his father. And he saw that the Lord was present in the pillar to encourage him not to fear his demoniac father's words. So Prahlada was actually seeing the Lord present in the pillar. The Lord was present to protect him. Hiranyakashipu marked Prahlad's observation and asked him, "Where is your God?" Prahlad replied, "He is everywhere." Then Hiranyakashipu asked, "Why is he not in this pillar before me?" Thus, in all circumstances, the devotee can always see the Supreme Lord, whereas the non. So, in all circumstances, devotee can always see the Supreme Lord. One is the hand of the Supreme Lord, the other is the energy of the Supreme Lord. At a higher platform, it is actually the Supreme Lord himself. Prahlada, as he had been addressed by his father, as the most unfortunate. Hiranyakashipu thought himself extremely fortunate because he possessed the property of the universe. Prahlada, his legitimate son, was to have inherited this vast property. But because of his impudence, he was going to die at his father's hands. Therefore, the demoniac father considered Prahlada most unfortunate because Prahlada would not be able to inherit his property. Hiranyakashipu did not know that Prahlada was the most fortunate within the three worlds. Protect him, Lord. Such are the misunderstandings of demons. They do not know that a devotee is protected by the Lord in all circumstances. Again, so this is the one of the core messages that the Lord protects his sincere devotees, surrendered devotees in all circumstances. We have to have faith and wait for His mercy to be revealed. Mm. 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 The faith is everything. And we've discussed this before. And when we read these kind of statements, right, we know that we've read it a zillion times. We have to develop genuine love for Krishna. And we also know now, saying that what is the goal of life? We say Krishna Prema. Now we have to go to the next stage of, thinking about how am I going to get there? What all should I do now? Right. So now we should get concerned about our pace of progress. How fast are we making progress? And we can become disturbed because of that is good disturbance. Now, instead of being disturbed by some material problem situation, like, be disturbed about our slow pace of, because when we hear these things, develop love of Krishna, and then we are so far away, not even crossed anartha nivrutti. At least I can talk about myself. And not even crossed anartha nivrutti, and then where is love for Krishna? And there's so much of gap, so much of work to be done. So we should be concerned that how am I going to make progress? What? And the path might just seem same. Oh yeah, okay, chanting Hare Krishna, reading, associating with devotees, etc. But now, if we are doing all this and still not experiencing any progress, we should be really concerned. Mm. So this should be our real meditation, saying that why am I not making progress? What is it that I'm doing wrong? Because the process seems to be very powerful. Process Bhakti is as powerful as Krishna. In fact, more powerful than Krishna because Bhakti controls Krishna. Sri Krishna Akarshini. He attracts Krishna. So when Bhakti is so powerful, then we should ideally make progress. Today must be better for us than yesterday in devotion in terms of progress. But if that's not happening, then we should be concerned. Yeah, one thing is stand and be happy, but that happiness is actually in the stage of higher stages, right? Brahmabhuta Prasannatma. At least we'll become Prasannatma. If not happy, at least we are like, you know, uh, we'll at least not lament and, we'll just at least pleased with life generally, whatever comes. For real happiness, which is Paramananda, which is, which only comes in the stage of higher stages. Ruchi, Asakti, Bhava, that is where we start to experience real bliss. Otherwise, the happiness of Brahman is compared to just drop, although the happiness that one experiences when one achieves love of Krishna. So we should have this hankering and this actually, His Holiness Shivaram Maharaj says that this is separation from our desired stage of devotion. Feel separation. We should feel that, oh, I'm so far away from this. And, that should become a driver for us. More devotion. And of course, for all that, we need this faith in Krishna, faith in Bhakti, faith in Guru, faith in the process. Soham vikattamanasya shirah kaya dharami te kopayeta haristwadya yaste sharanam ipsitam. Because you are speaking so much nonsense. I shall now sever your head from your body. Now let me see your most worshipful God come to. I want to see it, see how arrogant he is. I want to see Supreme Lord before me because I'm testing, testing your devotion. I want to see him. Like he's some. Demons always think that the God of the devotees, is fictitious. They think that there's no God. That so-called religious feeling of devotion is opiate kind of illusion, like the illusions derived from LSD and opium. Hiranyakashipu did not believe Prahlada when Prahlada asserted that his Lord is present everywhere. Because Hiranyakashipu, as a typical demon, was convinced that there is no God and that no one could protect Prahlad. Felt encouraged. He challenged the idea that the devotee is always protected by the Lord. So he's challenging this idea. He's saying, I want to see him. That's my challenge. Evam durukter muhurardhayan rusha suttam mahabhagavatam mahasuraha khadgam praghyaot patito varasanat stambham tatara tibala swamushtina. Being obsessed with anger, Hiranyakashipu was very great in body strength, just chastised his exalted Lord with harsh words. Cursing him again and again, Hiranyakashipu took up his sword, got up from his royal throne, and with great anger struck his fist against the column. Tadaiva tasmin inadotibhishano babhuva yenanda kataham asputat yam vaisvadishnyopagatam tvajatayah shutva svadhamatyayam angamenire. Then from within the pillar came a fearful sound which appeared to crack the covering of the universe. Oh, my dear Yudhishthira, this sound reached even the abodes of the demigods like Lord Brahma, and when the dark demigods heard it, they thought, oh, now our planets are being destroyed. As we sometimes become very much afraid at the sound of a thunderbolt, perhaps thinking that our houses will be destroyed. The great demigods like Lord Brahma feared the thundering sound that came from the front of Hiranyakashipu. Savikraman putra vadhe सुरोजसा निशम्य निर्ह्रादमपूर्वमद्भुतम् अन्तःसभायां न ददर्श तत्पदं वितत्र येन सुरार्यूतपाः. While showing his extraordinary prowess, Hiranyakashipu, who desired to kill his own son, heard that wonderful, tumultuous sound which had never been heard before. Upon hearing the sound, the other leaders of the demons were afraid. None of them could sound in that. So Krishna explains himself that he is the water, he is the light of the sun, moon, etc. Here the Lord exhibited his presence everywhere by the tumultuous sound. Shabda ke paurusham rushu. Shabda ke paurusham rushu. The tumultuous thundering sound was proof of the Lord's presence. The demons like Hiranyakashipu could now realize the supreme ruling power of the Lord, and thus Hiranyakashipu became afraid. However powerful a man may be, he always fears the sound of a thunderbolt. Similarly, Hiranyakashipu and all the demons who were his associates were extremely afraid because of the presence of the Supreme Lord in the form of sound, although they could not trace out the sound. So the Lord is present in his sound, Harinama. सत्यं विधातुं निजभृत्य भाषितं व्याप्तिं च भूतेषु अखिलेषु चात्मनः अदृश्यतात्यद्भुतरूपमद्वहं स्तम्भे सभायां न मृगं न मानुषम्. To prove that the statement of his servant Prahlada was substantial, in other words, to prove that the Supreme Lord is present everywhere, even within the pillar of an assembly hall, the Supreme Lord Hari exhibited a wonderful form never before seen. Form was neither that of a man nor that of a lion. This is one form in the assembly hall. When Hiranyakashipu asked Prahlada, "Where is your Lord? Is he present in this pillar?" Prahlada fearlessly replied, "Yes, my Lord is present everywhere." Therefore, to convince Hiranyakashipu that the statement of Prahlada was unmistakably true, the Lord appeared from the pillar. The Lord appeared as half lion and half man, so that Hiranyakashipu could not understand whether the great giant was a lion or a human being. To substantiate Prahlada's statement, the Lord proved that his devotee, as declared in Bhagavad Gita, is never vanquished. Demoniac father had repeatedly threatened to kill Prahlada. Prahlada was confident that he could not be killed since he was protected by the Supreme Lord. By appearing from the pillar, the Lord encouraged his devotee, saying, in effect, "Don't worry, I am present here." By manifesting his form as Narasimha Dev, the Lord also preserved the truth of Lord Brahma's promise. Any animal or any Lord appeared in a form that could not be or lion. Dev Bhagavan ki jai. Okay, so any comments, questions? Narasimha Dev has appeared. If you have any questions. All okay? Okay. Then we'll close. So we'll continue hearing Narasimha Lila. Yeah, and since Gaur Purnima is coming up, so you can also start reading Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. I think a couple of years back, I don't know whether the playlist we did Chaitanya Bhagavat. If it is there in English, you could hear that, or if you have Bhagavat with you, you can read Chaitanya Bhagavat. Chaitanya Bhagavat is actually the childhood pastime of Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So, they're very, very, they give a lot of bliss. So you can read them preparing yourself. Chaitanya Gaur Purnima. Okay, so we'll close here. Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Jagat Guru Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Bhaktivinoda ki jai, Vancha Kalpatarubhyo. Namaha Jai. Hare Krishna.